Hey guys, it's Vida and today we're going to be making an apple cake with vanilla sauce. The combination of the apple cake with the vanilla sauce is super delicious, and also the cake is very nice and soft, has a very great texture. It's super spongy and also can be made in no time, doesn't take much time, and we have very simple step. We don't need a hand beater or stand mixer, just do it with a whisk. So without any further ado, let's get on to making it. First, we need to prep our cake tin. For that, here I've taken a 6-inch round pan and a piece of parchment paper. My round tin has a removable bottom, so it's a very simple method I'm showing you. So you just have to keep the parchment paper on top of the bottom tin, press it on top, and then you just have to tighten it, just like you would normally. And you'll have the parchment paper underneath like this. You just have to cut that off. This is like the simplest method you can use to put parchment paper into your baking tin. And our cake tin is ready. We're going to set that aside and begin making the cake. First, we're going to be sifting all the dry ingredients together. For that, here I've taken a mixing bowl. Into it, sift in 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. We're also going to be adding a bit of spices to give it a bit more of taste, a teaspoon of cinnamon powder and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg powder. Now sift all of these ingredients together. And let's set it aside. Next, take another large mixing bowl and add in 1/4 cup of butter. That's exactly 50 grams of butter. You make sure to use softened butter, that's why it's going to be much easier to whisk. If you want, you can go ahead and use a hand beater, but it's really not necessary. Just mix and soften the butter up, then we can add in the sugar using 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. Now just whisk it until it comes together. You don't have to bring it to a creamy consistency or anything, just whisk it up. And then into it, we're going to crack in 1 egg. Since the apple has a lot of water content, you don't need much water, milk, or even egg. Just 1 egg is more than enough. Now mix that up really well. Next, here I've taken grated apples. I've taken 2 whole apples and grated them. I've also peeled out the skin of the apples. Put that in and mix it up. Now you'll start seeing that the mixture looks a little churned up, but that's alright. It's because the apple has a lot of water content. When you bake it, it's going to be totally fine. Also, after adding in the dry ingredients, you're not going to see that watery consistency anymore. So gradually add in the dry ingredients and mix. We're not going to be using extra milk or any wet ingredients in this recipe. Since the apple already has a lot of water, it's not actually required. Then add in the second half of your dry ingredients and mix again. After mixing, scrape down the sides for one last time, and here the cake batter is ready. You need a really thick cake batter like this. Now we can put this into our pan. You're going to basically have to scoop it in because the batter is really thick, so just scoop it in and level it out on the top. Next, we're going to keep this into a preheated oven of 180 degrees Celsius for around 40 minutes. It might also depend on the oven, but you can insert a skewer and check if it comes out clean. If it does, then the cake is totally baked. You can take it out of the oven and let it cool in the pan itself for around 30 minutes. And meanwhile, let's make the vanilla sauce. For that, here I've taken a pan, and into it I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/2 cup of water. Add in a pinch of salt, and this is going to help in balancing the sweetness. Next, add in 2 teaspoons of corn flour, and the corn flour is going to give it a nice and saucy consistency. Add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Also a tablespoon of butter. Now mix all of that up and make sure to dissolve the corn flour without any lumps. And don't worry about the butter, it's going to melt when we keep it in the flame. We're going to keep it on medium flame and keep mixing all through because the corn flour is going to start thickening. So you don't want it to form lumps, so make sure to keep mixing. Here the butter has started melting and now the consistency has started thickening up. And once you see small bubbles popping at the ends and in the middle, you can off the flame and keep it aside for around 5 minutes just to cool. At this point, just off the flame, and this is the consistency you need, a really nice and saucy consistency. After letting the cake cool in the pan itself, we can take it out and remove the parchment paper from the bottom. So this is kind of like a tea time cake, but if you want, it's totally fine to go ahead and frost this cake right now. But I'm just going to be using the vanilla sauce. The vanilla sauce is a perfect combination for this cake. And also I've decorated the top of this cake with some cooked apples that are dipped in strawberry jam. This is optional, you can decorate it however you want. Just the vanilla sauce is also perfect. I'm going to do a small drip around the sides and then spread it all on the top. And here the apple cake is ready. It has a really delicious vanilla sauce on top, a very perfect combination. And the cake is super soft and delicious. I hope everybody tries this recipe out. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also ring that notification bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching. Love cooking. Bye bye.